We have the minhag to learn a perek of Pirkei Avot each Shabbat of the Omer. The classic reason for this is derech eretz kadma laTorah. Here's another approach. Rabbi Pinchas notes the gematria of Omer is 310, just like the word yesh. He links this to the introductory line we say before each perek of Pirkei Avot, Kol Yisrael yesh lehem chelek l'olam haba. Every Jew has a portion of the world to come. I'm not smart enough to understand this Kabbalistic teaching on this, so I'd like to suggest my own link between the Omer and the yesh. The Omer is when we work on ourselves. For 3 weeks we've been hearing constant messages about how much we must improve. This can cause someone to begin feeling worse and worse about themselves. That's why we link Omer to yesh. Yesh can be translated as substance or worth. Yes, we think about whether we need to improve. We can't forget we have value. Even on week 1, before learning a single Mishnah, we introduce Pirkei Avot with Kol Yisrael yesh lehem chelek l'olam haba. It's important to grow during the Omer, but don't start thinking this means you don't have yesh.
We are now entering the period of days known as the Bahab. This is the first Monday, then Thursday, then Monday in the months of Iyar and Cheshvan respectively. The Torah writes that there was a minhag in both France and Ashkenaz to fast on these days, based on a Gemara in Kedushin on Daf Pei Aleph Amud Aleph, which says that the days which were wounding to the Jewish people were those of Aliyah Regel. Now this is slightly confusing to us, as we would see that the Shalosh Regalim were days which you were meant to be spiritually uplifted. And while this may be true, it was also a time when the Jews would gather en masse in Jerusalem, and so the ability to sin was more facilitated and people did so. And so these fasts were instituted as a way for people to do teshuvah following these chagim.
People say time flies when you're having fun, but I just think time flies. Doesn't it feel like yesterday when COVID just started and they said it would only take 3 weeks, and now it's been a year? The days just go into months and years, and that's it really, isn't it? Well, Judaism says no, and to find the answer to this, we've only got to look at the main mitzvah of HaOmer, which is to count the Omer, and each day we start by saying Hayom, today. But really, this word can also be read as the day, Hayom. And this serves to show us that really today is the only day we have. It's all that exists. It's everything that we have to do. Because tomorrow isn't here yet and yesterday's gone. We can't change yesterday. Of course, sometimes it's valuable to reflect on the past and plan for the future. But the point is that most of us spend so much time worrying about yesterday and tomorrow that we lose the most precious, amazing, dwindling gift in front of us, which is today. So seize the day, because Hayom is the only Yom that we have.
49 seconds commemorating 49 days of the Omer. On the 19th day of the Omer, we celebrate Yom HaAtzmaut. Yom HaAtzmaut, in turn, reflects back to 1949, the conclusion of the War of Independence. Israel prevailed over the Arab League, which included the likes of Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Those specific days of bloodshed and conflict are behind, but wars continue to flare in Israel and across the globe. As I reflect on the 49 days of the Omer, I think about its signature start being Pesach. Pesach started with the tragedies of slavery, war and conflict, and ended with exodus, liberation and freedom. My thoughts and prayers today are for a peaceful Israel, independent and free, with increasingly frequent treaties enabling a safer nation.
The last parasha we read speaks about purity and impurity with regards to human beings and what would be needed to bring a person back to purity, whereas the week before, the Torah details kosher and non-kosher animals. Why does the Torah speak about animals first, then people? Rashi says that this order follows the order of creation, which elevated impurity. The Be'er Yosef says that there's a big difference between the status of animals and humans. Animals are born fixed or locked as either kosher or not kosher animals, whereas humans are not. People can change, grow and fall. We're on a path of ups and downs. The Mishnah says that a Kohen can't check himself if he gets Sefirat because a person can't see their own faults. We often can't see our faults, however we are often even more blind to our strengths and abilities. That's the big difference between animals and people, the ability to change. If we're unable to see either our faults or our strengths, we will be locked like animals. But our ability to see where we fall and where we can be is exactly what will springboard our growth and push us forward from Mitzrayim to Matan Torah.
Shavuot, which is often seen as the least glamorous festival of the Shalosh Regalim, is in fact our most important festival. It is the anniversary of Hashem's revelation at Seenai and of our receiving of the Torah. We are told that on Shavuot we became a nation. It is this shared experience of receiving the Torah that makes us a nation. We were the people who accepted the Torah with the words, "Everything that Hashem has spoken, we will do." And this was before we heard any of the commandments that Hashem gave us. We accepted the Torah in its entirety. We agreed to do all of it first, and then we gave our commitment to study and learn from it. which has continued since that day to the present day for more than 3,000 years. We believe that every one of our souls were at Seenai when Hashem revealed himself. Believing in Hashem, doing mitzvot, and studying Torah is what makes us part of the Jewish nation.